Well, hey there everybody, it's Gary again. I'm here to show you my favorite plinking load for my 45 ACP. What I like to shoot are these 185 grain semi-wad cutters. They're a nice light bullet for a 45, but still heavy enough to knock down any of your steel targets that you may be shooting at the range. These particular bullets are the Missouri Bullet Company. Order them online. Fairly cheap round to get. And the powder I like to use is Bullseye. The charge weight on this particular round is anywhere between 4 to 6 grains of powder. I like to be right there in the middle at 5 grains. It's a safe area to be at. Don't worry about any kind of pressure charges. And it puts you at around 8 to 8.25 feet per second depending on your barrel length. The primers I usually use are the Winchester large pistol primers. So today I'll be going over with you on how I load up my rounds. I store all my rounds in coffee containers. So after I get them all cleaned, deprimed, resized, and baled, I store them on here so they're ready to go. So the only step from here, all I got to do is put the primer in, put the powder, and set the bullet. To set your primer in, I use a RCBS universal priming tool. It's pretty simple. Just slide the case in, squeeze until you feel tension, bring it out, just double check it that it's nice and flush with the case. You don't want your primer to be protruding any, because then it could accidentally disfire on you. But if it's nice and flush, no worry about anything hitting it and making it go off. So it doesn't take long to load all these guys up. You just put them in one at a time, squeeze, and rub your finger across. Make sure it's nice and safe. All right. I want to finish priming all of these, and I'll be right back with you here in a second. Alright everybody, now that we got all of our cases primed up and ready to go, we're going to start measuring out the powder. Now the number one rule when you're doing powder is only have one powder out at a time. You never want to get any of your powders mixed up. You may get a faster burning with a slower burning and cause major pressure issues when you're out there on the range. So today, like I said, we're going to be using Bullseye. We're going to be using 5 grains on this 45 ACP to get to where we want to be at. So I got my triple beam balance scale here. This is the RCBS 5-2, I believe it is. I'm going to set it up to 5 grains. And I got my powder trickler here. I was loading up 9mm last time, so this is going to be a little bit shy. Yep. Pull it out a little bit. Anytime you mess with the dial, you want to throw a couple of charges just so it all settles down and you get the proper rate. Alright, so right there is way too heavy. We're going to back it off half a turn and see where we're at now. Try to steady it off while we put it on there. And that right there is right on the money, 5 grains of Bullseye powder. Alright, we're going to throw this a couple of times just to make sure we're not getting any kind of false readings. Still right there, dead level. One thing about these triple beam balance scales is that they're very precise, but you have to be careful that you have no wind blowing. If you have the AC going or the fan, it could put downwards pressure on this and you could get higher loads without even realizing it. So we got all this charged up. So now that we got our powder trickler all set the way we like it, start throwing our charges. This is pretty simple here. Just put the case right underneath it. And you kind of see as I throw my charges, I tap it a little bit. That way I kind of make sure I get the same amount of powder each time I throw the bullet. Or throw the charge. Pretty fast pace here. It doesn't take much. Now once I get all these thrown, I will go through and spot check a couple of them just to make sure that the powder trickler here did not change up on me. Once you get halfway through, just simply twist it around, start on the other side. Once you get the whole block filled up, you always want to kind of double check it all. Make sure that they're all level. It's very easy at this point right here to see if you got any double charges, or of course if you got one empty. So all these are filled up and look good. So I'll just take a couple out of here and just double check the charge weight on them. That one is good. Get my powder funnel. That one's also good. So it's always a good idea to check about 3 to 5 cases whenever you're doing your plinking pistol rounds. Of course, if you're doing a rifle hunting load or a target round, it's best practice to measure every single load. That one's good. So I'll just randomly pick about 5 of them out of this right here. This block holds 50 rounds. There we go. Alright. That's pretty good there. Alright, I'll get the other block all throwing the powder charges, and I'll be right back to you. Alright guys, now that we got our cases primed and loaded with 5 grains of bullseye, we're going to start seating the bullets. So, load it into my Hornady lock and load bullet press here. Set a bullet. Now the overall length for this particular bullet, according to our book here, is 1.161. So we load it up here. So we got 1.159. So a little bit short. Load up another one. Anytime you're measuring with a flat lead nose bullet or a round nose bullet, they're going to vary a little bit. So as long as you're around 2 or 3 thousandths of where you're supposed to be at, you're pretty close. So this one right here is 1.160. So only 1/1000th away. So that's pretty close there. So we're going to load up a couple more. See what we're at now. Alright, this is our 5th bullet. We'll measure this one. If this one comes out good, I'll proceed on to the rest of them. So 1.160 right there, so it's 1,000 short. I'm good with that. So I'm gonna get ready to load up the rest of these bullets. I got 100 of them with charges in them at the moment. So I'm gonna get them all set, and I'll see you at the range so that way we can see how good they perform. Alright, well, welcome everybody back to the range today. So for the accuracy test for the 45 rounds we just loaded up, I got 4 targets set up. I got one for 7 yards, 15, 20, and 25 yards. So we're going to step back and see how well they group. Alright, first up, 7 yards. We'll put 5 rounds on target. Today I'll be shooting my Kimber 45 in the Grand Raptor. Alright, next up will be 15 yards. It's going to be the top right-hand target. All right, everybody. So my first 2 targets, I got a little bit excited. I shot 6 rounds on each, but I got 6 rounds right here. These are 8-inch bullseye targets. So that's about probably a 3-inch group right there. My next one, I had 1 flyer down here and down low for the 6 rounds. So even that right there is still at about 7 inches. If you got rid of the flyer, it'd be about 4 inches. On my 20 and 25 yards, that's about as far as I get to shoot most of the times. So I got my first 5 rounds right here. Not bad, about a 7-inch group. Now with the 25, had a point of impact change over here to the left a little bit. That's probably just me though. So I got my 5 rounds right here, say about 8 or 9 inches. Okay. So I'll step back and see if I can't show you how light the recoil is on these. Okay, so next up, I'm going to try to show you the muzzle rise. That should be in frame there. I'm just at about 7 yards from my CMP target. Okay, well, I know what you're thinking, that the 1911 is already a full heavy frame, so I brought out my less better today. This is an aluminum alloy frame, so it's not very heavy, and it's a 4-inch instead of a 5-inch like my Kimber. So this shit kicks a little bit more, so let's see how it does it with these rounds. Alright. Alright, well, I'd like to thank everybody for watching today. Hopefully you found this information helpful. If you're looking for a light recoil 45 ACP round, I hope you give this recipe a try. I still have about a half a box of ammo over there, so I'm going to get to shooting. I hope y'all have a wonderful weekend, and y'all take care.